Hello and welcome to today's session. Today we are going to learn more about adjectives. Though in the last class we mentioned adjectives and also saw some of the types of adjectives, today we are going to go into that in detail. I hope you are aware that adjective is one of the parts of speech. Do you remember all the 8 parts of speech? Just check. So adjective is the third one, if we remember it in the right order. So what is an adjective? Do you remember the function of an adjective? What does an adjective do? Can you find out the adjective from this sentence? This is a noun and this is the adjective, and what does it do? It describes the street. So from this you can form the definition if you have forgotten it already. An adjective is a word that describes or adds more meaning to a noun or a pronoun. And the position of the adjectives can differ. So it can either be placed before the noun or after the noun. She lives in a noisy street. Now here you see, this is the noun, this is the adjective. The adjective precedes the noun here, it comes before the noun, whereas in the first sentence, it comes after the noun. So there is a particular term we give, this is used predicatively. This is used attributively. According to the position of the adjective in a sentence, we name them attributive adjectives or predicative adjectives. An adjective that precedes the noun, attributively used. An adjective that follows the verb or it comes after the noun, it is used predicatively. We'll go into the kinds of adjectives. Again, depending on the function of an adjective, we classify them into different kinds. There are 8 in all. The most common is the adjectives of quality. They describe the adjective. Adjectives of quality normally answer the question of what kind. The example that we just discussed, noisy, that is also an adjective of quality. What kind of street? A noisy street, a crowded street, a long street, a narrow lane. So all these are adjectives of quality. They answer the question of what kind. Think of more examples. All these common words, say big, small, huge, heavy, bright, young, new. All these are adjectives of quality. So they describe the size or the emotion. Let's see, happy. Happiness is an emotion. Emotion or shape. If you say this is a round table, so there you are describing the shape of the table. A square clock, a rectangular box. So even that, the one which is talking about the shape, then age. See, young. I met a young girl. He was an old man. So all these are adjectives of quality, shape, then color. Normally, we tend to make mistakes when we mention the color of something. There's an error made. We say, bring the blue color box, which is wrong. It should actually be, bring the blue box, wear the yellow frock. Because blue itself is a color, yellow itself is a color. We don't need to add the word color to that, right? A blue curtain, a red dress, a black shirt. Not a black color shirt or a blue color curtain, no, right? Then origin, like French windows, Chinese products, so where they come from. So there it talks about the origin. Then purpose, what is it used for? A dining table, a table that is used for dining. Walking stick, a stick that is used for walking. Running shoes, reading lamp, even these, but actually these are participles which are used to form adjectives. The present participles, add the ing added to them. We go to the next type, which is the adjectives of quantity. So what question do adjectives of quantity answer? How much? Adjectives of quantity answer the question, how much? Say words like some, much, little, all, enough. See, in the last class there was one participant who raised this question. He asked what part of speech is enough in a particular sentence. There the sentence was a different one, where enough I said is an adverb. In that sentence it was an adverb. I remember the sentence. The policeman didn't run fast enough to catch the thief. That was the sentence that we discussed in the last class, the previous class, where we learnt all the parts of speech. There the word enough is an adverb, but enough can also be used as an adjective. If I say I have enough food, I don't have enough time, then you say it functions as an adjective. Enough food, food is a noun, then enough is an adjective. They don't have enough time, time is a noun, so enough is an adjective. But the other sentence, you see, fast enough, good enough, there enough is an adverb. Like as I said already, it is not the word, but the usage of the word in a sentence that matters more. According to that, we classify them as different parts of speech. Okay, insufficient. So these are adjectives of quantity. Now you see, sometimes we use the same words in adjectives of number also, which is the next kind. So what is the difference here? Adjectives of quantity talk about uncountable nouns, things which we cannot count. Like if I say, I have some time. There is like any. Do you have any common sense? So common sense is not something you can count. There's little water. Water is again an uncountable noun. He lost all his wealth. Wealth is uncountable, spoken of as one whole. So here adjectives of number, you see they talk about the countable nouns, things which you can count. So the same word some can also be used as an adjective of number. Like some people attended the class. Now you see people, you can count them. Some people is a countable noun. Whereas if I say there's some food left, there it is an adjective of quantity. How much food is left? Some. That's why it's important to ask this question, how much? Here what question do you ask? How many? How many people attended the class? Some people attended the class. Then you have words like many. Like we have much for an adjective of quantity, we have many in number. Many excuses were given. So how many? Many. All. All men were present. Then a few. A few people wanted to come. So we will look into this also in detail. Few, a few. Remember, in the first class we discussed this little and a little. The difference between little and a little. Little means nothing, a negative meaning, whereas a little means something. Same way, a few means some, but few means nothing. Few people came means nobody came. But if I say a few people were interested, means there were some people who were interested, right? Adjectives of number, apart from asking the question how many, sometimes we also have some adjectives which answer the question in what order. Like the first number, first, second, she got the third prize. So here the word third is an adjective of number. I have 3 sisters. See, it's an adjective of number. Then we have demonstrative adjectives. See, in some languages you find the adjective, the form of the adjective changing in accordance with number and the gender. Like in Hindi we have that. We have, if I can say a few words, see, we have acha, ache and achi. But in English we don't have that. See, even if the noun is masculine or feminine or singular or plural, the adjective does not change. A good boy, good boys, a good girl. So whatever the gender or the number of the noun is, the adjective remains the same except for one kind of adjective which we will see, demonstrative adjective. There you see the adjective changes. See, this and that we use for singular nouns, but we don't use the same words for plural nouns. What is the plural for this? These. And for that it is those. So only here you find a change in the form of the adjective. Otherwise, the adjectives remain the same regardless of the number or the gender of the noun it describes. We have the possessive adjectives. I hope you are taking down notes. You can't remember everything now. You will remember, but when the class is over or 2 days later or a month later, most of the things we don't remember. So it's better you take down notes. Possessive, see, possession. So for I, it is my, it's our, you, it's your. So these are pronouns and these are adjectives, possessive adjectives. So this is how we form the possessive adjective. His, her, it, its. See, there's no apostrophe here. See, there are two different words. See, this is different and this is different. Some people confuse these two. Here, this is a possessive adjective, like the dog. Write it here. Is wagging its tail. Here it is a possessive adjective. Its tail, no apostrophe. But here there should be an apostrophe if I have to say it's raining. Here it is the contraction of it is. So there are two different words. It's with an apostrophe and without an apostrophe. So here this is its possession. Then they, their. Right? These are the possessive adjectives. 7 in number. Then we have the interrogative adjectives. Interrogative, the very word suggests that they occur in questions, used to ask questions. What habit is that? So here, what is an adjective because it talks about the noun habit. Which bag is yours? Bag is noun, which is adjective. Or you see whose. Whose pen is this? Right? They are asked to ask questions. I hope you're clear with all the kinds of adjectives we have discussed so far. There are only two more types, the emphasizing and the exclamatory. The emphasizing adjectives, as the name suggests, they are used to emphasize, to stress the importance of. Only two words, own and very. Sometimes you hear people saying, I saw the accident with my own eyes. So there is some difference when you say with my own eyes. Instead of saying I saw it with my eyes, so you just want to emphasize, to give more importance to that. I saw it with my own eyes. This is the emphasizing adjective, or very. This is the very information I was looking for. Here, this I was looking for, or I wanted. He is the person the police were looking for. So he is the very person. So you see the difference? If you say simply he is the person the police were looking for, that's a normal way of saying it. But if you say he is the very person the police were looking for, he is the person, not anybody else. Just want to emphasize or stress the importance of that. The last one is the exclamatory adjective. It is used to exclaim. What an idea. You exclaim. See, if the idea is a wonderful idea, is a beautiful idea, it's a new idea, a useful idea, then you say, what an idea. So here it is an exclamatory adjective. What a blessing. So here they are used to exclaim, so they are called exclamatory adjectives. So this is all with the kinds of adjectives. Now we will see how adjectives are formed. Formation of adjectives. Some adjectives we see they are formed from nouns, some adjectives are formed from verbs, and some other adjectives are formed from other adjectives. They are already adjectives, but still it's possible to form another adjective. From nouns, like care. See, care is noun. You can form two adjectives from this word. Can you guess what they are? Careful, careless. Similarly, hope is a noun and we form the adjectives hopeful, hopeless. Can you think of similar words? Keep thinking from verbs. Here have dirt, dirty. This is the noun. Stormy. The other day we discussed this. Storm is the noun. We add y, it becomes stormy. Or even color or metals. See, gold is a noun. You see en, then it becomes an adjective, golden. Sometimes you add ish, then it becomes an adjective, greenish, reddish, whitish. Okay, from verbs. Pity. Again, the word pity can be used both as a noun and as a verb. Pity him, there it is a verb. He has no pity, there it's a noun. So from pity, which adjective? Pitiful, pitiable, both mean the same, which means they deserve pity. Pathetic, pitiful, pitiable. Okay, then move is a verb. Movable. It is a movable chair, a movable table. You can think of, see, when you see an adjective, you can start thinking of how this adjective is formed, either from a noun or from a verb. Sometimes it's also the other way. Some nouns are formed from adjectives, but this is also possible. From adjectives. Whole is already an adjective. The whole story. Then you see, add some and then make it another adjective. Wholesome. Then the words tragic and comic, they are already adjective, but if you add al, it becomes another adjective. Tragical ending, comical story, tragical theme or tragic theme, they mean the same. Okay. So when you see a word, you can look for the other parts of speech, other forms, especially the verb, noun, adverb and adjective you should be thorough with. Sometimes when some adjectives are used predicatively, the meaning gets changed. See, if you say this is a noisy street or the street is noisy, there's no change in meaning. But sometimes the attributive meaning is different, the predicative is different. If you say a good dancer, what does this mean? A good dancer means she's good at dancing. But if you say the dancer is good, do you see the change of meaning? Here this word does not speak anything about her dancing skill. Here it is to do with her character, the nature of a person. She's good, right? So this is how the meaning gets changed when used attributively and when used predicatively. Same way you say he is a small businessman. What does this mean? Small is the adjective. It is used attributively, which means before a noun, means he does a small business. He is into a business which is small. But instead, if you say the businessman is small or he is small, here this does not talk about the size of his business, but the size of his, the size of the person, right? He is physically small. He is small, if you say, it refers to the size of the person, the physical size. So sometimes you have to be careful when you're using it the other way. And there are some adjectives which can be used only after the verb, never before the noun. And you will see those: alive, afraid, alone, upset, asleep, ashamed. Try using these words in sentences, then you will see how they are not used before the nouns but after the nouns. You see, she is still alive. You don't say alive person, no. He is afraid of dogs. After he, the pronoun, we use afraid. We don't say afraid people, no. The frightened people, that's a different word we use for that. Alone, they are alone. The children are alone at home. Upset, she is upset, I'm upset, right? He's asleep, they are ashamed. So it's always after the verb, after the noun. They are used only in such positions. There's one more, sleep, ashamed. Okay. Yes. There's one more. Awake. Like asleep, and then alike. See, the brothers look alike, we say. Alike talks about the brothers, but always used only after this noun. So they are used always predicatively, which means after the noun, after the verb. There is one word, poor. Special mention has to be made about this because it has 3 levels of meaning. The one normal, common, familiar meaning is without enough money. Opposite of the word rich. Sometimes, in some contexts, the word poor can mean weak or inadequate, not enough. Sometimes unfortunate. You say, no, poor fellow, he missed the flight, he lost his money. Unfortunate, unlucky. So when used in this sense, without enough money, it can be used both ways, attributively and predicatively. See, the poor man got a job. It is used attributively just before the noun. The man was poor. In both these sentences, you see, it talks about the first level of meaning, without enough money. But if you say, if you want to talk about this week, the poor students met the principal. It's a kind of punishment where the poor students or the parents of the poor students are asked to come and meet the teacher, right? So there it means the weak students. So here also it occurs before the noun. It precedes the noun. But when you talk about this, the third level of meaning, poor man or poor fellow, always before. Here in these two cases, it is always used attributively. But if you say the students were poor, it means something else. But only in the first level you can use it both ways, right? Sometimes when you find a list of words, all adjectives, there's a particular order that needs to be followed. First comes the size, then the general description, then the age, shape, color, material, origin, and then the last one is the purpose. We are not going to use all adjectives in one sentence, but if you have 2 or 3 words describing a particular noun in terms of size, shape and purpose, then this is the order that has to be followed. You see, a small white wooden table, or if you say age, I mean old or young, an old round French clock, you see, old, then the shape, round, then the origin. So this is the order. We don't say it like round French old clock, no, and this is an old round French clock. Then a new. I bought a new pair of cotton clothes, right? New comes first and then comes the material, cotton, wooden or golden, whatever. So this is the order that we have to follow when you have a series of adjectives talking about a particular noun. Then this little, a little, and the little. A little means no, right? A little some. The little means that is all there is. Everything that he has. See, the little money that he had was lost. What does that mean? That is all he had. All the money that he had was lost. The little time that I have, I spent for my students, right? Or, which means that is all the time I had, but I spent it for the students. Remember, these little and a little, they are used for uncountable nouns. And then we have few, again means no, a negative meaning. And a few means some. Same way, the few. The few. Let us use it in an example, in a sentence. The few people who came left early. What does this sentence mean? The sentence itself gives you the meaning that not many people came. That's the first thing. And those people who came, they also left early. The few people who came left early. It is different from a sentence which says a few people, see, a few people who, okay, or you say, few people left early. So what's the difference in these two sentences? A few people left early. The second sentence, it means there were some more people who stayed back, who were still there, who have not left yet. Here, everyone has left. The few people who came left early, right? So there's a difference in a few and the few. Similarly, the little. She drank the little water I had, which means I don't have a water, right? That was what I had, but she drank that. She drank the little water I had. Then we have comparison of adjectives, the degrees. This many people would have learnt in schools and colleges. Comparison. we have 3 degrees: positive, comparative, and the superlative. Some adjectives we just add er. Here we add one more, yes, we double the consonant here, just add er. Here we add est. When we just want to state this is a big house, we use the positive degree. But when we compare two houses, then we should use the comparative degree. This house is bigger than that house. Or if you talk about more than 2 things, then we prefer the superlative degree. This is the biggest of all houses in this street. There are some words where you see like beautiful. You don't add er here, but we add the word more. More beautiful and then most beautiful. More is comparative, most is superlative. And when you interchange degrees, then we have this format. No other boy is as intelligent as Ram. Now this is the positive degree, and it's important to use these as intelligent as big as small as in the positive degree. Now come to the comparative degree. Now Ram is more intelligent. So this format is important to remember, is more intelligent than any other. See, every word is important here. Than any other boy, again a singular form. Ram is more intelligent than any other boy. Then the superlative. Ram is, remember to add the word the before the superlative degree. It's important. He is the most intelligent boy. And there's only one best. There's one more where we have one of the best, one of the biggest, one of the smallest. There the form is different. This is one type, type 1. And when 2 things are compared, never use the superlative degree. We talked about that in the first session, where when you talk about 2, many people tend to make that error. This is the cheaper of the 2. That is the right way of saying. They say this is the cheapest of the 2. They compare 2 things, they say this is the cheapest, this is the best. That's not so. Okay, this is type 1. We have very few monuments as wonderful as the Taj Mahal. So this is the positive degree, where we don't say that Taj Mahal is the most wonderful. Here it is one of the most wonderful. So there, this is the way it has to be written, the positive degree, which means there are some more monuments which are as beautiful, as wonderful as the Taj Mahal. This is the positive degree. Then when you talk about the comparative, you see the Taj Mahal is as wonderful as, and then very few. These are the words to be remembered. Is more wonderful than many other. Here you see than any other we said. Please note the difference. Here when there is only one thing that excels everything else, we say than any other. Here when there are a few more things which are equally wonderful, equally good, Then you say than many other. More wonderful than many other monuments. Then the superlative of this would be the Taj Mahal is one of the most wonderful monuments. The plural form is very, very important here because it's one of the. There's another error. If you say monument, it's an error. Monuments. Why? It's not the only one, but it's one of the many, right? One of the most wonderful monuments. So these are the two types of degrees of comparison. This is commonly asked in exams. Some sentence is given in some degree and you are asked to rewrite the sentence without changing the meaning in the other two degrees. There are some sentences where only two things are compared, where it's not possible to write the superlative degree at all. In one session I remember we discussed a sentence like Kumar is stronger than Prem. Then when I asked you to use the positive degree, there was someone who answered like Prem is not stronger than Kumar, to which I said no. The right answer was Prem is not. Do you remember that? Some participants who are attending these sessions repeatedly, I think you will remember that Prem is not as strong as Kumar. So this is the positive sentence. Why? Why not, as you said, Prem is not stronger than Kumar? Because that sentence, if you see, it may also mean that they are equally strong. See, Prem is not stronger than Kumar is not the answer for this sentence. For a sentence like Kumar is stronger than Prem, this is the right answer and not this. Why? I want you to understand the difference in meaning, because here this may also mean that Prem is as strong as Kumar, which is not the fact that is stated here. You see? So if you write this answer, it may also mean this. So to make things clear, this is the right answer. You have to add not and then make it positive degree. Then we have, when you add the word the to an adjective, sometimes it gives you a plural meaning. Have you come across such usage? When I write the example, maybe you will know. See, this is a common sentence. Help the poor. What does that mean? Help the poor people. Help the needy. Right? It means help the needy people. But we stop with the adjective. So this the plus adjective, it gives the plural meaning. Yes? But it can also mean a singular noun. When you say the accused was punished. Here in this sentence, this stands for a singular noun, the accused person. Why? You have a clue here. The verb tells you that this is a singular noun. Otherwise, if it is a plural, it should have been where, then. the unexpected has happened. Again, you see, the plus the adjective stands for a noun. We don't even mention the noun here. You see, you don't say the accused person. You don't say the unexpected event. It's okay to say, it's correct. But this is also correct, the unexpected event. Instead of that, you just stop with the unexpected. It's okay. But here you know it is a singular noun because of this verb has. So it can mean both a plural as well as a singular noun. The plus the adjective. Then you have some irregular adjectives which do not add er and est to form their comparative and superlative degrees. Instead, they take an entirely different form. Good is the positive degree, the comparative is better, and the superlative is best. You see, there are three different words. We don't add er to this and say gooder or goodest, right? There are no such words. Bad, worse, worst. Positive, comparative, superlative. Then little, less, least, far. You have two forms, father, not the father, mother. This is father with an R, right? Father, further, then farthest, the most distant, farthest. So these are some adjectives where you have a different way of forming the comparative degree and the superlative degree. And you see these words, father and farthest, they talk about the distance. Further also, I walked further. There's also distance, but sometimes it also means additional. He didn't make further remarks, which means he didn't make additional remarks. There are so many areas in the topic adjectives we need to learn and master. Then we have old in the positive degree. We have two forms, elder and older in the comparative. We have eldest and oldest in the superlative. What is the difference? We use elder and eldest only for people, whereas we use older and oldest for people as well as things. Oldest place, oldest library. This is used only for people. Is used for people and things. And another thing to remember here is the word elder is not used with than. We don't say she is elder than me. In that case, you have to say she is older than me, right? Elder, you make a note of it somewhere. Not used with than. Though it is a comparative degree, we don't use it with than. We simply say, she is my elder sister. It just talks about the seniority. Whereas older and oldest, it's about the age. She is older than me, not elder than me. Okay? I hope you're taking down at least some of the points that we are discussing. These will be useful later on, especially when you're preparing for competitive exams. And there are some words, see, there are some words where we don't use the conjunction than after them. Instead, we use to. This was also discussed in the first session in common errors. The words like inferior. We don't say this is inferior than that. Instead, we say, or we should say, this is inferior to that. Superior to, inferior to. Prior to, posterior, anterior, right? So there are some words where you have to be careful. Don't use the word than, right? Now to make it clear, you can see inferior than is wrong. You have to use to. His project was superior to hers. And what part of speech is hers? It is a possessive pronoun. It stands for her project. Instead of saying her project, see, it's better not to repeat the same words again. It will sound monotonous and boring sometimes. Instead of saying his project was superior to her project, we prefer to say to hers, which means her project. So it's a possessive pronoun standing for two words, her project. And there are some nouns used as adjectives, nouns themselves. See here, this is different from nouns formed from adjectives or adjectives formed from nouns. The nouns themselves are used as adjectives. A schoolgirl. The school is a noun, but here it functions as an adjective. Why? Because it talks about the noun girl. A farmhouse. Farm is generally a noun, but here it talks about the house. Then we have those gerunds, reading, lamp, like walking stick, which we discussed earlier in this class. These are participles with ing used as running, shoes. Okay, and then there's some difference where you have to use the present participle adjective, present participle adjectives and the past participle adjectives. Adjectives which are formed from present participles. The same. Horrifying movie. So this is the present participle adjective because you find this ing. This is the noun. So what do we mean by this? The movie was horrifying. But instead, if you want to talk about the people who watched the movie, who were horrified, then remember to use the word horrified. Here, this is the present participle adjective. The people were horrified. There's a difference in these two. Horrifying, it is the movie that is horrifying, which means this is the effect it has on the people, the impact it has on the people who are watching the movie. So when you start a sentence with the people as the subject, please don't ever use horrifying, the present participle adjective, but use the past participle adjective. This is the past participle form. We can discuss some more examples. The class is interesting. Present participle. But if you want to talk about the students who are attending the class, the students are same way. Horrified, which word should you use? Interested. Interesting, interested. Horrifying, horrified. Boring, bored. Tiring, tired. Try forming sentences with these words. The story is boring. The readers are bored. The work is tiring. The workers are tired. So remember to use the right form of the adjective. Whatever word you use while speaking or writing should always bring out your intention. Whatever you want to communicate should be brought out by the words you're using. So be careful with the choice of words. And there are some words which can be used as both. In the last class, we saw how a same word can be used as different parts of speech. Now here we see a list of adjectives which can also function as adverbs. Like one example we discussed already, which is enough. I have enough money. Here is an adjective. How can you use it as an adverb? I didn't read enough. Here is an adverb because it talks about the verb. Then much or some. Some fruits are here. Here it's an adjective of number. It talks about a countable noun. Then adverbs. She knows some. Then I have little difficulty. Little difficulty means no difficulty. Remember the word with no article before that. Little means no. I have little difficulty. I have no difficulty. Then she reads little means she does not read at all. Then the early bird, the proverb, the early bird catches the worm. Early is an adjective. As an adverb, come early or go early. Go to bed early. Say, it talks about the verb there. Are you taking down these notes in your notebook? I hope you are. Later on, these notes will be useful. So when you read a story or any article, it's better you have a pencil with you, mark some words, the new words that you come across, see what part of speech they are and look for the other parts of speech as well. That's the best way to learn. And there are some adverbs for which we have no degree. They are always used in the positive degree or square, round, universal, unique, perfect. You can't say this is more square or more round or more unique, because unique, the word itself means very special, right? There's no comparison. So these are words which can be used only in this form. There are no other degrees of comparison for these words. though we sometimes come across usage like this is the most perfect story that I have ever read, something like that, but it is still perfect itself means perfect. There's no more perfect or less perfect, right? So with that, we come to the end of today's class. I want you to visit the website, those students who have not yet registered for the course titled Communication Skills, where many areas will be focused on. It's not only the topics of grammar, but also the other areas where you need to greet people, then you need to write something, writing a report or replying a mail. So everything is equally important, right? Not only the speaking part. So you need to know all the essentials of grammar in order to be able to speak and write correctly. So in addition to watching these sessions or attending these classes, I want you to spread the word to your friends as well that there is something called this communication skills course coming up, and you can ask your friends also to register for the course, and I want you to benefit fully from that, because these are sessions made especially for your benefit. Topics like adjectives itself is a vast topic. 1 hour is not enough, right? But what you are supposed to do is to learn whatever is taught here and then go back, read and learn the rest. And in some sessions we have interactive sessions where you are allowed to ask questions, and those questions will be answered in the same session itself. So this is how you can benefit most from the course or the classes. I want you to spread the word to your students. So it's always good not to share all the good things, right? See you in the next session. Bye. Thank you.